Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching Georgia Beer Reviews. Back at you today with another one. And what I'm looking at is a beer from Jack's Abbey Craft Lagers out of Framingham, Massachusetts. I'm a huge fan of this lineup of beers from them. This is the Framinghammer series, the Gingerbread Bourbon Barrel Aged Baltic Porter, which classifies as a lager. Of the ones that I've had, though, most of these, they drink similar to a stout. If you like bourbon barrel-aged stouts, I think you'd be pretty happy with the Jack's Abbey Framinghammer series overall. However, I have not had the gingerbread variant before, so I'm very excited to try this one. It clocks in at 12% alcohol by volume. It's 45 IBUs. Let's see. This is a 16.9 ounce bottle. Okay. So Jack's Abbey Brewing Company, purveyor of fine craft lagers. So the Framinghammer series, I've had a couple. I think I've only reviewed one, or did an examination of one on my channel with a couple of the guys, and can't remember for the life of me which one it was. But I've had a few of these, and I've been very pleased. You know what? I think it was the Taza chocolate, but I could be mistaken. I have had that one, though. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're here to talk about the Gingerbread Bourbon Barrel Aged Framingham. So let's pour it up. 12% alcohol, getting up there. Pours really nice, dark brown. Not super thick or motor oil-like in any way. It looks black on camera, but it's really just a very dark brown. The head, about 1.5 fingers worth of a dark tan. Very tightly knitted, bubbled head. Looks good. Appearance is spot on for what you would expect for this style. Wow, the gingerbread comes right out front. The gingerbread cookies. If you've had a gingerbread cookie, that's what it smells like. I loved gingerbread cookies growing up. There was a brand, I can't remember, but they were gingerbread cookies, but they were in the shape of a windmill. And I grew up eating those for years and years. Loved them. Dip them in milk. Oh, so good. So, gingerbread. That's what it smells like. It's really hard to get through those spices because the gingerbread spices are very upfront in your face. There's a little bit of the barrel coming through, but you really got to take 3 or 4 good whiffs before you get past that gingerbread. Maybe a touch of dark chocolate. Brown sugar? A little brown sugar in there. It smells delightful. It definitely smells like gingerbread. So if you have high expectations, high hopes for the gingerbread factor, at least on the nose, you're definitely getting it. That's pretty much all I'm getting. The gingerbread is definitely right up front in your face. It's hard to kind of get through that, but when you do, little notes of dark chocolate, touch of brown sugar, and the barrel notes come through ever so slightly. So let's see how that translates to the palate. Let's see what we get on the palate. Without further ado, let's get into this brew. Cheers. All right. So the aroma was just overpowering with the gingerbread notes. The palate, you're getting a little bit of everything. You get the gingerbread right up front, but it quickly drops off and it leads into a nice bready center. You're getting some dark toasted bread notes in the middle of the sip, some dark chocolate, a little bit of a coffee note from the astringency of the roasted malts. A little touch of that brown sugar coming through too on the palate. I don't know if brown sugar is a component of a gingerbread cookie. I don't know if that's one of the ingredients in gingerbread cookies. Obviously ginger being one of them. Brown sugar probably is. I would imagine. There is a definite brown sugar note. So dark chocolate, brown sugar, a little bit of that barrel presence coming through on the palate as well. Some slightly charred oak type notes. A little bit of vanilla too, I think, coming from the bourbon barrel aging. Caramel. The finish is smooth. None of the 12% alcohol is coming through whatsoever. It's really not even warming going down. And I have had this out of the fridge for probably 10-15 minutes, so it's had a little bit of an opportunity to warm up. Carbonation, getting some belches going on here pretty quickly. So the carbonation is like a high medium, getting towards high with the carbonation, which is impressive for a bourbon barrel aged Baltic porter, which, by the way, drinks like a stout for the most part. It is maybe not quite as viscous as some of the stouts are nowadays, but if you've ever had like the Bourbon County Stout, this one drinks a lot like that with the body. A little bit thinner than some of your really heavy stuff, but enough body, enough punch to really give it that stout feel, in my personal opinion. This is an incredible beer. I don't think it's my favorite of the Jack's Abbey Framinghammer that I've had. I do love gingerbread cookies, though, and I can see how somebody that's still really into gingerbread cookies, I don't really eat them much anymore, but when I was a kid I did, and this just kind of brings me back to my childhood with the gingerbread cookie thing going on. It's spot on with the flavor profile, and especially on the aroma. And then once you get into the palate, you do get some of the other components, the dark chocolate, the roasted malt, the coffee, everything that I mentioned before, and a little bit of the bourbon barrel. And as you swallow it down, it is very smooth, no alcohol burn, and it almost has a little bit of a creaminess to the mouthfeel, as if they were to add like lactose or something like that to the beer, although it doesn't specify whether or not. I don't think they did with this beer, but it just has a little bit of a smooth mouthfeel, as if they added some kind of lactose milk sugar to the beer. I'm going to go with a 95 out of 100. It's a solid A beer. I would definitely recommend it. It's not my favorite of the Framinghammer series. I wish a little bit more of the bourbon barrel was coming through. Maybe a little bit less of the gingerbread and some more of the other flavors. Maybe give it a little bit more balance in that regard. But if you're going into it with the expectation of a huge burst of gingerbread cookie type notes, flavors in your mouth, then that's exactly what you're going to get, because it definitely delivers with the gingerbread notes. So a 95 out of 100 for the Jack's Abbey Gingerbread Bourbon Barrel Aged Framinghammer. The body with this is medium. I wouldn't say that it's heavy. I don't think I mentioned that before. It does have a nice carbonation to it as well. I would say medium carbonation, medium body. It is a porter, so it doesn't drink as heavy as some of the stouts, as I mentioned before. You get into a lot of trouble drinking this beer because it is super smooth and easy drinking. All that being said, I'm rambling a little bit. 95 out of 100. Buy it, try it, let me know what you guys think. Jack's Abbey, the Framinghammer series, excellent, excellent stuff. This one is no exception. Not my favorite, but still wonderful stuff. And if you like gingerbread cookies, I don't think you're going to be disappointed with this beer. So that'll do it for this beer review, guys. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. And until next time, everybody, cheers.